Hello, my name is Brian Casey, editor-in-chief of AmpMini.com, and we're here at the 2019 edition of the RSNA meeting in Chicago. We're here right now with Dr. Jay Parikh of the University of Texas MD Anderson Cancer Center. Dr. Parikh, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Mr. Casey, for having me.
Yeah. So the issue of burnout has been a really important issue in healthcare, and also has been a topic of quite a bit of discussion here at RSNA. Now you participated in a survey with ACR, the ACR Leadership Survey, that found pretty high levels of burnout in radiology. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I guess, first of all, I'd like to thank the members of the ACR HR Commission and the ACR for being so kind as to sponsor this annual workforce survey that's sent out to practice leaders across the United States. And we need to thank the leaders who were kind enough to respond, over 300, almost 300. Anyway, the leaders which responded represented about 30% of radiologists in practice. And I wanted to thank my co-authors, Dr. Claire Bender, Commission Chair of the Human Resources Commission, Dr. Elizabeth Arleo and Dr. Darcy Wolfman, all of who helped me in terms of actually writing the article. What the survey found is when we actually surveyed practice leaders, over 3 out of 4 actually acknowledged that either their practice was severely affected or very significantly affected by burnout. Over 50% said that it was actually extremely affected, and over another 22% said that it was very significantly affected. So over 3 out of 4. And when we actually asked and inquired more into the data about what the actual burnout level was like, and we looked at it and we tried to stratify it by different cohorts, one of the things that we found that was very interesting was that there was actually more severe burnout reported by practice leaders in larger practices than smaller practices.
And why do you think that is?
Well, we hypothesize that part of that may be because of the actual size causing less connectivity between the radiologist, Mr. Casey, between the actual practice members. There's also a tendency towards geographic isolation the larger a practice size is, and isolation has been reported in many studies to be a risk factor for burnout.
Yeah. Now, were you surprised at some of the numbers on burnout that you saw in this survey?
Yes, we were. We didn't anticipate that there would be such a large prevalence of burnout as reported by the practice leaders, much higher than expected. If you look at the actual surveys previously done, they actually interviewed and surveyed radiologists directly. And the kind of radiologists that may respond, at least in theory, may be more biased to respond if they have burnout. So it could be artificially elevated. And so, the range, depending on the survey you read, it ranges anywhere from 40 to 60% on average. The fact that we had independent assessment by the actual practice leaders confirming that there was burnout from their perception is another lens that tells us that burnout is prevalent in radiology practices within the United States.
Yeah. Now, what are some of do you know why this is so prevalent? Do you guys have any idea from the survey why this seems to be occurring at such a high rate?
Well, we haven't actually from this survey pointed out individual factors, but multiple factors probably contribute to this. It's a complex issue. Part of it seems to be the individual in terms of risk factors affecting the individual, and part of it seems to be related to the actual culture of radiology. And in between, the leadership, which is the bridge between the individual radiologist and the culture, is another opportunity for improvement. And so those are the tactics we're going to have to use to address this complex issue, trying to help elevate the resiliency of the individual radiologist, help change the culture of which we practice to make it more radiologist friendly and to improve our workforce in terms of having a more opportune moment for joy, and having the leadership step up a little bit, if you will, in terms of addressing that bridge.
What are some of the signs that maybe a radiology practice leader or a radiologist can use to detect whether they're experiencing, or whether someone they know in their practice is experiencing burnout?
So that's a really good question. So one of the things that every radiologist as a member of the American College of Radiology can now do in terms of looking at their own individual assessment, if they're concerned, is they can complementarily, if they are a member of the college, have access to the Well-Being Index, a tool that was sponsored by the college now. So the initials to go on to Google is ACR space WBI. And if you actually go into that, it actually links you to the American College of Radiology Well-Being Index. And a radiologist can answer a set of determined questions in the validated survey tool to determine their levels of actual burnout.
Great. All right, that's a great step. Dr. Parikh, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Mr. Casey, and thank you on behalf of the College of Radiology.
Signing off for AmpMini.com, this is Brian Casey.